The Counting House. Everett Voss bought the old farmhouse outside Willow Creek for less than half its listed value, and the agent's hesitation when he asked why should have told him everything. Previous owners didn't stay long, she said. Nothing wrong with the house. People just get spooked easy out this far. He didn't get spooked easy. He'd tell himself that for the next 6 weeks, right up until the night it stopped being true. It started small, a sound from the crawl space beneath the kitchen, a slow, deliberate counting. Whispered so faintly he thought at first it was the wind finding a gap in the boards. 1, 2, 3. Always in the same cadence, always stopping at 13, then starting over. He told himself it was pipes settling, the same as everyone always tells themselves. He almost believed it until the night the counting came from inside the walls of his bedroom instead, tracking his exact position in the room, pausing when he moved, resuming when he stopped, as though whatever counted wasn't marking numbers at all, but marking him. He found the crawl space door the next morning hidden behind a water heater he hadn't bothered to inspect when he moved in. Inside, scratched into the support beam in what looked like 13 separate hands, 13 sets of initials, none matching any name on the property's deed history. Above them, deeper and older than the rest, someone had carved a single line. It keeps count so it always knows what's owed. He should have left that day. He didn't because by then the whispering had learned his name. And something in him, some old, stubborn human refusal to be chased, made him stay just to prove it couldn't win. That was his mistake. The 14th night, the counting didn't stop at 13. It kept going 14, 15, 16, climbing steadily higher, faster, the whisper thickening into something with weight behind it. Something standing just outside his bedroom door, reciting numbers like a countdown, with no floor beneath it. He didn't open the door. He sat against it instead, knees to his chest, and listened to it count past 100, past 200. The voice never once repeating, never once tiring, while the temperature in the room dropped low enough to fog every breath he took. Somewhere past 400 it stopped. Not faded, stopped all at once, mid-number, like something had simply lost interest or been called away. He left the house before sunrise and never went back for his belongings. The listing went back up 3 months later. Price dropped again. The agent, when pressed, admitted the new owners lasted 11 days before they too walked away, though she wouldn't say what number they claimed to have heard it reach, only that whatever it was higher than anyone before them. Nobody stayed in that house past 2 weeks since. And nobody, as far as she knows, has ever waited around long enough to hear it finish counting. The Overpass. Nadia Kern drove the same stretch of Overpass on her commute every night for 3 years without incident. The kind of unremarkable drive that blurs into muscle memory. That changed the week the Overpass started appearing in her rearview mirror twice. It happened first on a Tuesday. She crossed the Overpass, checked her mirror out of habit a mile later, and saw it again behind her. The same concrete arch, the same faded green sign, impossibly duplicated in a stretch of highway with no bridges for another 11 miles. She blinked, and it was gone. She told herself it was exhaustion, the kind of trick tired eyes play at the end of a long shift. It happened again the following week, only this time the Overpass in her mirror had someone standing on it. A shape, still and upright, watching her tail lights recede, in a place she was certain had been empty when she passed beneath it seconds before. she stopped taking that route after dark. The trouble was, it did not stop finding her. 10 days later, driving a different road entirely, she glanced in her mirror out of old habit and saw the same overpass rise up behind her, superimposed somehow over a landscape that had no overpass at all. The same figure standing at its edge. Closer now, close enough that she could see it was not quite standing correctly. Weight, balanced wrong, across legs that bent at the knee in a direction legs should not bend. She pulled over that night and called her older cousin, the only person in the family who still talked about the things their grandfather used to say, before nobody wanted to hear it anymore. Her cousin did not laugh. She asked one question only. Had Nadia ever looked directly at it, straight on, for longer than a glance? Nadia had not. Her cousin told her to keep it that way. Some things, she said, only gain ground once you have truly seen them, and a mirror was not the same as seeing. Not fully. Not yet. The moment that changed, there would be no more warnings, only arrivals. Nadia drives with her rear-view mirror angled slightly off her own reflection now, just enough to break a clean line of sight. And she has not seen the overpass again in 3 months. But some nights, waiting at a red light, she catches movement at the very edge of her side mirror. Something upright and patient, standing just outside the glass, where a proper reflection has no business existing. And she has learned to look straight ahead instead, hands steady on the wheel, until the light turns green and the road ahead is empty again. The well at the old property line. Graham Petrie inherited 40 acres of scrubland from an uncle he barely remembered, mostly worthless except for the timber, and one detail buried in the survey he almost missed. A boarded-over well near the eastern property line, marked on the old deed with a single handwritten notation. Do not draw from it. Do not look in. He assumed it was superstition left over from whatever generation had first worked the land. He drove out one afternoon anyway, curious, and found the well exactly as described, capped with warped planks nailed down decades earlier, the wood gone soft and gray with age. He should have left it capped. Instead, he pried up one board, just enough to look inside, telling himself it was only curiosity, the same excuse people always give right before something goes wrong. The well was dry, deeper than it should have been for the size of the shaft, the darkness inside seeming to swallow the afternoon light, rather than simply lacking it. He heard nothing, saw nothing, and nailed the board back down, mildly embarrassed at the effort he had wasted on an empty hole in the ground. The dreams started 3 nights later, always the same. Standing at the lip of the well, looking down, except in the dream the darkness looked back, and something at the bottom counted his heartbeats, in a whisper that kept perfect time with his pulse. He woke each morning with his hands aching, as though he had spent the night gripping something tightly without realizing it. By the second week, he no longer needed to be asleep to hear it. The whisper followed him into waking hours, faint beneath ordinary sound, always counting, never varying its rhythm from the beat of his own heart, growing very slightly louder each day as though it were slowly learning how to be heard by ears that were not dreaming. He drove back to the well and found the board he had replaced, lying 10 feet away in the grass, though nothing on the property should have moved it. He did not look inside again. He instead spent that entire day and the following one packing the well solid with stone and dirt, then poured concrete over the top himself, working until his hands blistered, refusing to stop even after dark. The whisper faded over the following week, softer each night, until it stopped altogether. And his hands, for the first time in a month, stopped aching when he woke. He sold the acreage within the year at a loss to a buyer who never asked why the eastern corner of the property showed a slab of fresh concrete sunk into otherwise untouched ground. Graham never explained it. He has decided some questions are better left the way he left that well, sealed, and never opened again.